Hello, good evening. Welcome. My name is Pt2. Welcome. I want to share today with you part 2 of what I did start yesterday, and it's about career or the course that I will choose. You know, course and career advice I will give to myself or my younger self before going to university, if there was any need at all to go. So the career or the course advice, because wherever we are with our lives, whatever stage that we are, there are a lot of other decisions that were made before, and those decisions were made either by us, by parents, by people who took care of us, people who came across our lives somewhere along the line. The quality of the knowledge they had, the understanding of the things they had, the world that they understood, what they deem as important. Those informed the kind of advice that they would give, and obviously the kind of advice they would give on, say, school, the course that you have to read, the career advice that they have to give you, and things like that. And usually, when they make those choices, those decisions for you or for me, they tend to stay with us for a very long time. By the time you find out that this advice was good or bad, you're probably over 40. And so far, the kind of advice that they give, because I thought that a lot of things had improved until I started to listen to people's portion of why they still go to the university and what informs the course that they choose, or not even university, other tertiary schools that our people go. The results are clear. We are producing a lot of young people who are coming out to look for jobs, to look for employment, and we are not creating a lot of those jobs and employment. And yet, it's the same kind of advice that they had, that they gave us, the same kind of advice that we tend to be giving to the ones who are coming after us. So it means that if there was a solution, it maybe is the same solution with us, and if there is a problem, the same problem is running through. And so I think that my younger self, I will say, yesterday I started, and what I talk about is that if I were to give myself some kind of advice, I would say that have some sense of purpose. Don't just go through life like that. You should have some sense of purpose to know that, okay, this is me. This is what I think I have some gift in. This is what the name that I want to make. This is where I think I have my strength, my gift. This is what I want to get education in. I should ask myself that. And it's not just go to school to come and get a job, because the fact is that so far that has not been proven to be entirely right. Getting the job, and who is creating those jobs? Is it the politicians who are creating them, or who? So the percentages, the odds are against a lot of people in terms of that kind of advice, that go to school, when you finish you get a good job, so pick a choice, keep a course, pick a course on that kind of, that kind of advice for me is an advice not to win. It's an advice to play, not to lose, and not losing does not make you winning. And so that I think you should have. I would tell myself that have that sense of purpose, that sense of destiny, that sense, because that sense encourages you to dare, to risk, to take chance. Perhaps you will succeed. I would tell myself that way. And the other thing that I was tell myself is that you have to look at an environment where you have the freedom to express that gift, that purpose, that talent that God gave you. That is key. You don't just have to say that, oh, I'm 20 years, I'm going to university, I'm going to this, and this is the kind of course, because usually the Africans, as we are, they, the kind of decisions that they make for us, is to you become a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, those are the things. And then the other people, they say that go and become a teacher, police officer, military. the other day I was talking to a young guy and he was saying that he wants to become a military officer. In fact, I don't come close to those kind of professions. So, like, what? You want to become military officer? What informed that? He said, no, I just like it. I said, okay. But something should inform that kind of choice. You don't just say, I just like it. What do you mean by just like it? Do you have that sense of destiny, that sense of duty? You should have that, because life, you are not going to live for 1,000 years. It's that short. So that, so the third one, I think that you should factor financial independence in that kind of decision that you're making. Most people just say that, oh, that course is very good because once you finish, you get a job. Yes, getting a job and having financial independence are different things. One, if you're not picking the course because you have a passion, you have a talent, you can have that sense of responsibility, you have some sense of calling in that field. And you don't have that, and you also say that, oh, when you finish you get a job. Getting a job is entirely different from becoming financially free. And really what most people want to do with their lives is not just to get a job. The reason most people pick the courses that they pick, the kind of education that they give us, is because we want to have financial freedom. Really, that is why it is. Why do you think some people become corrupt as politicians or civil servants or people who work in organizations? Why? If they say that somebody is corrupt, it's what? It's because they want to pick money that is not theirs. And really, that is a false sense of them trying to have financial freedom. And so a lot would have to do with that this course that I'm choosing, this future that I want to advise myself, if I was 20 years now, this future, I would say that all the courses are important. Choose the courses based on the things that you think you achieve with your life first, the things that you think that you have a gift in. Those are critical. The job, maybe, but what you really need is that sense of financial freedom. And how do you achieve that? That has very little to do with all the fancy courses that they tell you. Because I think that if it has to come to financial freedom, really, tertiary education, it has got to do with risk. It has got to do with financial information. It has got to do with the financial knowledge you have. It has got to do with your confidence. It has got to do with a lot of things. It has very little to do with the fact that you became a lawyer or a doctor or engineer. You will get bigger salary, compared to the other guy with maybe a certificate. But that the difference is not able to make anybody financially free. So the kind of future that you're looking for is that, okay, how do I pattern this future? Set that at least I will work with my talent. I have the freedom to contribute to this life. And then I will not have to go to work purely because I have to have money to eat and to pay rent and to pay my children's school fees. That requires different kind of information. The next thing I will tell myself will be this kind of course, this kind of career should have some kind of link to do with the development of my country, to the development of our continent. I think nobody was born to come and do that. And some other people, no, all of us were born on this continent to make a contribution to the development of this continent. And so I would want to not just be selfish, because the thing about it is that those who become great, those who become successful, don't just become so much selfish in their decision making. They somehow, some way, link their choices to the service of their country, to the service of people. And the more they can do that, the more successful they become. So when you are so much self-focused on what to do and you're focusing on just the job, the salary increment, you really are cutting your future that small. So if I were to be in the college 20 years, I would say that the kind of decisions that I will make, I will consider my country, my continent, the kind of contribution that I will make for this country, for this continent to become great, because it has a lot to do with your success as well. So whatever talent that you have, whatever gift that you have, the more people you can serve that gift with, the more successful you become. So maybe you're a teacher. You believe that God gave you that ability. And then you have to have an environment where you be ready, or you be allowed to express that and to bring your ingenuity, your wisdom, your knowledge in that field. Then the next one will be, how does this gift, how does it get to a level where it spreads to a lot of people? How do people get to know it? How many people can I help? How many people can benefit from this thing that I have? That will bring, and you see, you have that sense of purpose. And because you think that this gift will make a contribution to the development of your country or of your continent, in a way, that is how success is built. That's how success is built. So it's really not so much of a particular sector of economy or particular job per se, but those who can do more, whatever they have identified to do with their life, and serve more people. Those are the people who can, one way or the other, have some kind of successes. And especially when it comes to financial successes, the more you can serve people, the more they will be ready to pay you. So if you just serve one, two, three people, let's say you just teach as a teacher in one classroom, you pay you one salary, it will be tough. It will be tough. It will be tough for you to have a lot of finances, and it will be tough for you to live financially free. But if, let's say, you are a teacher, you love education, you want to educate more people, so now you are teaching one classroom, which is maybe 30 people. Now you are looking at, okay, this knowledge that I have, how can this knowledge get to 20, maybe 30 now? How can this knowledge get to 200,000 people, 300,000 people? How can this knowledge that I have spread to the rest of the country? How can it spread to the rest of the continent? How can it spread? The more you think of that, and then you start to look at, okay, what methodology, what technology can help me to do this? The more you can do that, the more successful you can become. Because your success, your gift, your talent, that which you think you have, it was given to you to benefit people. And so the more people you can serve, the more you start to get that leverage of successes, and finances will definitely be part of it. So if it's business, it's the same. If I can do more and serve more people, I will eventually become more successful. So that is the kind of advice that I will give to my younger self. And I will not so much educate myself in restricted courses. Even if I'm doing science, I would want to study a lot of the other things that will make me be able, that will make me have an opportunity to at least build something with what I have. So if I happen to have an idea, I would want to educate myself right in the university, the kind of information, with the kind of information that will help me to build something around it. So because most people come out of the university and they have very little exposure apart from, beyond the course content that they have, and that makes it very difficult for you to even build a business or an idea that can spread to benefit a lot of people, because you're so much restricted, and you're so much focused on the agriculture they were teaching you, you're so much focused on the publishing they were teaching you, the law that they were teaching you, you're so much. And don't forget that this kind of education structure that we have, really, they just carve it for us to just go and look for a job. And the fact is that going to look for a job, you're going to compete. And this kind of future that I'm going to live, you don't have to build your life around waiting for somebody to give you a job. That will be a problem. So that is the kind of advice that I give myself. So which means that I will study a lot of other subjects. I will study management, no matter the course that I'm reading in the university. I will study management, I will study finance, I will study entrepreneurship, I will study product, development, I will study processes, I will study how to manage people, put idea together, how to work with people. Those are the things that how to take risk with how to be disciplined and focus on something to make it work, how to develop something that will solve problems for society, become beneficial. Those are the things that I'm going to focus on, because and how to build something with my strength. I would want to focus on that, because eventually that is what is going to separate you from the other ones. The kind of tape that they gave us, that tape is not working. We are the only ones who are defending it. That tape is not working. That tape of become a doctor, become an engineer, become this, only that, and go and look for job from the government is not working. The very few who would get a government appointment, there are not many. Like, for instance, Ghana is about 30 million people. The whole government institution, they say, is employing about 600,000 people. So the rest of us, where should you go and work? Who should take care of us? So unless you are lucky to, it's not even luck, because that's technically welfare kind of success. The government is taking care of you. You didn't create that wealth, So the people, a lot of our people are hooked up to. That's just colonial structure. for you to create a lot of wealth yourself, you must have the systemic thinking and practical skills to create that kind of lifestyle. And that comes from you developing your thinking, developing yourself beyond the kind of training that the university will give you. If you only depend, you just have to have it in mind that, okay, I want to go through this school, pass the exam, all right, no problem. I can become any of those things that you have defined for me. But for me to live my dream and explode and do something, it will require some kind of training that will help me to not be so much risk averse and at least develop some kind of person or personality that will be able to have the confidence to try something by myself. That is critical. Even if you want to, whatever, even if you want to become a politician, you need some kind of courage to put yourself there and to, be go in through the competition and be voted on and sometimes lose or sometimes win. Because that's life. Any dream that you have, any dream that you have, there will be an element of risk. There'll be. And so if you're so much uncomfortable and if you so much believe that you have to have the right things set, the right, everything must be perfect before you make a decision, that will not be the kind of education I will give my younger self. I will say that, yes, do all the things that you need to do. You don't have to fall into every gutter, every ditch, every hole. But by all means, there will be one hole that you would have to dare to see. If you don't fall there, you will win. Maybe. So I will tell myself that way, that you make a contribution to the development of your continent. And then I will work on myself in terms of character, in terms of ethics. I will devote a lot of time to work and stretch myself, develop knowledge, develop wisdom, that excellence, innovation, creative thinking. I will devote a lot of time into that because humans, every one of us is genius. It's a genius, so to say. Every one of us is gifted with something. The problem is that by the time you're through with all this school, you'll become fearful. Become fearful. So we should know the level of the level the tool that is the school is a tool. It's a tool. It's not achievement per se in itself. It's a tool. So that tool you have to know how to use it and use it well. That is true. Because you just ask the people who have gone before you. Sometimes they meet some of their mates that they dropped, that you dropped with at the secondary level, and you went forward to the tertiary. And sometimes you were thinking that by the time you meet that mate, you are way ahead of them. Not necessarily. You may have some kind of thing that the society respects, because that's what society respects anyway. Society respects the things that are popular, the things that are common. The society will respect, the things that you hear, the titles. But to live your dream, that's not the responsibility that you look for, or that's not something that you look for from society. That is something that you live from within. And a lot of people, what you're looking for, when you're young, you may not be thinking like that. But when you get to be, the people who have retired, go and ask them. What you're looking for really is to make a contribution as a human being and not to live a life that is controlled, especially when somebody uses finance, economics to control your choices. And yet that's what most adults are going through, because they had a dream, they had a desire, they had an idea, but they didn't have the courage to launch out. So the common things that people like now, people are going to school. Most of the youngest, they will tell you that they want to become nurse because that's what that they hear. That's what the society has told them. The other ones will tell you that, I want to become a lawyer, I want to become a judge, I want to become all the things that we are looking to become is to find somewhere to get a job. That's all that we are looking for, all of us, or majority of us. Very few are wanting or want to become this so that they can build institutions with that. They can build companies with that. They can build products with that. They can change processes. They can bring improvement. Most of us, when we were at that level, we're not thinking like that. The closest that we will come to will be to think like getting a good job, with a car and a house and then your mother or your friends will say that you are successful. And that is not really the case, especially with those of us living on this continent, because we have to build it from scratch. Not many are building. So I will tell myself that if I have to pick a course, I'm picking it based on the things that I'm gifted, based on the passion, the things that I see I want to accomplish. You position. The thing is about positioning. You're making choices, you're taking decisions now so that you can live that dream. And that dream, you want to live that dream, not poor. You want to live that dream working with the best of heart. You want to live that dream working with your talent. You want to live that dream with freedom. Those are the things that every human is looking for. Freedom and finances are part of it. So you want to do that. And you can do that when you run with that primary advice that they're giving us. And yet, it's difficult for you to make that decision to say that if I'm going to the university now, I want to look at the courses that I can create something with in the next 20, 30 years. That will be beneficial, and that many people will be ready to pay for. I want to become a police officer. Yes, people will become police officer, no problem. I want to become a politician. People will become politicians, no problem. But you don't go there to say that I want to be rich. Go there to give a service. It's a sense of duty. You don't go there to say that I want to become, so that I'll be rich. No, rich really is in business. Unless you were born a queen or a king. The people who have really made some level of wealth with work, with diligence, with practice, with innovation, are people who happen to take risk. And usually they take risk with the business. And so I will tell myself that one, which means that I will be ready to work anywhere that I have to work to acquire the skills that will create a future. And so when others are in the school, jamming and dancing, watching football at the JCR, debating about politics that takes us nowhere, I'll be looking at going to the lab to create something. But like I will be looking at acquiring maybe accounting skill, acquiring maybe programming skill, acquiring something that I can create a product that I can build something with. I'll be, no matter the course that I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing philosophy or sociology or something like that at Lego. But my free time, I'll be taking some courses in maybe computer programming. I'll be taking, maybe it's how to design a website or how to build an e-commerce site, how to, the graphics. I'll be doing something like that. Something that I can build business easily with. I'll be looking at, okay, maybe I have to go and learn how to manufacture or how to develop this product. I'll be learning how to sell something. I'll be learning how to put myself out and be ridiculed, and be looked down upon and still be able to convince people to buy the product that I have or to put my idea across. Those are the things that I'll be telling myself. Because when you complete that school, unless you have people who are positioned somewhere who will connect you, if you have to connect yourself, you will need different skills than the other ones. And that's why people who are coming from backgrounds where there's not much connection, those are the ones that you're hearing that, oh, Ghana is very difficult. Ghana is so difficult. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I've been looking for a job 10 years, 5 years. I'm not getting it. Because, sorry to say, most of us did not strategize our younger self. Because somebody may also be so, when I completed school, I've been doing this menial job for the last 5 years. I don't feel like this is what I was meant to do. It's because, but it's because you did not put a lot of investment in yourself. So if I were to tell my younger self, before I go to school, before going to the school, I'm going to choose not the popular course. I'm going to choose the course that I can see in my future. So whatever that I decide to become, that I want to sit down and engineer and ask which course is close to this kind of lifestyle that I want to become. You don't just choose anything. I hope that you become successful. No. And definitely, if you want to start businesses, you don't just go and pick any course from the university and think that once you finish, it doesn't matter. You can start a business. No. There are some things that you'll be better off if you knew them when you're young. if you knew them when you're young. It is, and for me, the generation that you will live in the next 20, 30 years, that generation is going towards a people who will be very much independent in thinking, people who will not want to be controlled, people who would be asking a lot of questions and debating, and there will be a generation, and you can see it. There will be a generation who will not so much fancy what the other generations really fancied, and so you want to position set that in the future you see that, because nobody gets to the future just by chance. No, it's something that is really planned, and yet most people are not planning it like that. You don't think that you're just going to have financial freedom just by wishing or not being aware of it. It's something that you have to be aware of it, and it's something that you have to plan for it. And so my name is Obindako, talking about some career and course and career advice that I would give to my younger self before going to university. I will also say that if I come from a very poor background and I don't have the money to go to the school, I would also consider working alongside whilst in school. Or sometimes even right from the SHS, I would consider getting a job, putting my hands on something, selling something, trading something, getting busy. Because I'm coming from a background that the mother does not have money, the father does not have money. I want to put myself somewhere to make some revenue, work. In as much as, I need the money, but I also become more responsible. I will get to know more. I become more practical in my thought. The hallucinations and is it a hallucination? The lack of clarity in thinking will go off because I will be learning the practicals. So even if I enter the university, I will still be looking at, okay, what can I do to support myself financially? I'm not going to use all the time that I have to sleep. I'm going to use it to work. What is it that I can do? What is it that I can do to support myself? It is important. You have no excuse to say that my parents were poor. That's why I couldn't finish, or my parents were poor. That's why I went through a lot. So long as you're 15 years, so long as you're 13 or 18, there's a lot that you can do to support yourself. And never feel like disadvantage just because you're working to support yourself, to put yourself through school. There are a lot that you also be building. There will be a lot of strength. There will be a lot of capacity. You will shift your mind. By the time that you start to work and you're being paid, or you start to sell something, build a business while you're in school, you're way ahead of those other guys who are being taken care of by their parents, waiting for instructions from parents before they move anywhere. Because life, the more you push yourself in an environment where your courage is built, the more you can develop yourself so that you become confident in your decision making, the more you can dare to take on something, fail and come back, fail and come back. The closer you are to doing things with your life, especially when it comes to doing something like a business. Because the people who start businesses, the people who start a business, there's a level of confidence that they have. There's a level of madness that they have. There's a level of courage that they have. And all those, they didn't just come there like that. There are a lot of experiences. There are a lot of things that they happen to have done or touch. There are situations that happen to them that one way or the other built some level of self-belief, self-confidence, and that helped them to pursue their dream. And that's the future that you are going to live in anyway. The future that you are going to live in will not be that colonial future. It will be a future that you have to get up and do something for yourself. So that I will tell myself that way. And if I have to create my own financial future, it's not going to just be any job. I can become any profession, but I will not leave that future to anybody. I will be responsible for that. Not even the president. Even if I'm the president, I will still want to be in charge of how I create my own investment, how I create my own finances. And I will also not worry so much about mistakes and errors. I will not want to make them deliberately, but if they happen, I will have to put up with it, especially problems, challenges. I will tell my young self that no, if problems happen, don't run away and don't change your character because there is difficulty. And one other thing that I will tell myself is that if you meet an African who is principled, who is honest, who is ethical, you have met an African we'll go far. And so we have a lot of things, especially Ghanaians. We have a lot of things that we are very good at. But something that we have challenge with mainly is the honesty, is the character, is the ethics. Being able to say no, being able to say yes, being able to say this is it, it is so I have to put it. This being able to say this is me, I'm not going to steal, I'm not going to lie. Those things, you have to build it yourself. Because if you have it, you have a very big competitive edge. Because most people will crumble when there's pressure, when it's difficulty. Most people will lie to gain, will cheat to gain. And so if you build, and yet if you cheat to gain, you are not gaining anything. And that's the kind of thing that I would tell myself if I were to start, something before, because then you have a big leverage. The system is that loose that you can cut your way through, but the more you're cutting your way through, the more you're closing your way as well. So I will tell myself that yes, I will develop this work ethics. I will work hard. If anybody gives me anything to do for them, I'm not going to give excuses. I'm not going to complain. I will work. I want to be known as somebody who can deliver, who can get results, who will not be complaining. And I will not be so much attached to position and title. I would want to see myself somebody who can get results. And I don't have to impress. I would not want to impress anybody. You know, if I have money to start a business, I would rather start the business gradually than have to start the business in a, pump way. Whilst I don't have it, I don't have to impress and create any impression for anybody. I want to start with the little that I have and learn the business and grow it. That's the kind of psyche that I would want to develop. And I'll be ready to take any job, any position, so long as I will learn, I will train, and so long as those things will help me to create the future that I want. And I will also want to tell myself that every now and then there should be a book that I'm reading for the life and for the expertise that I'm building. Whatever that I'm doing, I want to get the current information. I want to get the corrective information. I have to make sure that the fundamentals of my thinking are close to those who succeed. Because until you get the fundamentals of your thinking close to those who are successful, you're not going to succeed. There are things that they could be successful in any area of life, but the fundamentals are very close if you question them. If you ask them any questions, their thoughts on character, on honesty, on hard work, on thinking, on people, they are very close. They're very close. They are taught on problem solving. They are taught on endurance. They are taught on staying till you get results. They are taught on learning, becoming better every day. They are taught on self-belief, on self-confidence. Very close. So I would want to read and correct those and get my mindset, my thinking very close to those who are very much successful. Because the more I'm close to those people, the more successful I'll become. So if you are just cheating, lying, lazy, superstitious, those kind of things that a lot of people are occupied with, those will separate you from achieving a lot with your life. So that's the kind of things that I'll tell myself. And the kind of degrees that I'll get the degrees so long as the profession that I want require the degree. I will not just go and look for degree because I want to get a degree. No. So let's say I want to do PhD. I should make sure that the work that I'm doing, the profession that I'm doing, the future that I want would require that. If it's not, no need, because it's time and it takes a lot of money and a lot of effort. And the same time, the same money, the same effort you can use to, grow your vision somewhere if you pay. Because somebody could be building business and then the next time you see it, they are using a lot of time to go and pursue things that will not add value to the very things that they want to become successful in. Why? Because that is the prevalent advice that they get everywhere. Some people are doing business and all the advice they're taking from political discussions early in the morning. It's not going to work like that. So you want to focus on what you're doing, become the best at it. And I will also say that if they are not giving me any course at all, at least it's better to do something than nothing. I also say that, because some people are so much hooked to, if I don't get this course, then I'm not going kind of approach. I don't know if it's such a good idea. I don't know if it's such a good idea. Because some people say that if I'm not getting this, then I'm not going. Look at the future you want to, because no course will make you, really. It is you who will make that course. No career will make you, it is you. Because if you pick any course, any career, there are people who are very much successful there. And there are people who are just barely surviving. Go every sector. Why? Because the things that make people successful and the things that make people exceptional are very common throughout every field. And those are the things that have been to do with your work ethics, your character, how you handle your time, how you talk to people, how you handle yourself, the vision that you set for yourself, the endurance limit that you have, the persistence. The persistence. Are you persistent in your approach to getting your goals? Are you ethical? Those things. Are you disciplined? Are you wasteful? Those things are the things that will make anybody successful in any field. Not necessarily that if I get this, then I'll become successful. It's not true. But there are a lot of people who are failing in all these areas. Somebody will just have the ability to maybe just paint. But if he's diligent, he will become successful in that painting. Even have gone to a lot of schools. He's just found his talent, he focuses on it, and he continues to upgrade himself, and he spends a lot of energy, a lot of time in doing that thing. And before you see it, everybody is looking for him, everybody is looking at him, everybody is waiting, because he's diligent, he's committed, he's focused on his dream to be a painter. So whatever, God has gifted us differently, and everybody becomes great with their gift, with their talent. The school and the career are supposed to enlarge that, elaborate that. They're supposed to augment it. They are not supposed to replace that which the Almighty placed in you. And that you will find. If you don't find, the very thing that people are always asking you, how did you do this? Even though sometimes you don't even have a formal training in it. That is the thing. The thing that you're very much committed to, you're passionate about, you talk about, you think that this one you can do a lot to solve it. And usually they have to do with helping people to succeed. That thing is where your greatness is. That's where your greatness is. So you're always linking it to the betterment of people and how many people you can serve with that thing that you have. That is where your greatness is. So the school and everything, they are good. But if you want to be extraordinary, if you want to achieve a lot, you have to go way above the course and the career. But you have to do more than everybody. If everybody is working 2 hours, you're working 4 hours. All the good things, you have to go extra. Then you become exceptional. And then they'll be looking for you. So my name is Kwabena, and so don't just say that I want to become this lawyer, I want to become engineer. Those are the popular things. Go and look for those who came before you, 20 years, 30 years. Go and look for them. Those who are exceptional. There are things that they do consistently every day. That's why they're exceptional. And the fundamental or the foundation is your character. So don't jump it, develop it, don't leave it. Take the course, take the career, and leave your character. Never go with it. And build it, continue to build it. Even if you fall, if you fail, pick up again. Build it. Let people trust you with money. Let people trust you with their treasure. Let people trust you with their time. Let people trust you with their properties. Let people, and they will come back and see that this man is different. That will separate you from a lot. And it means that you have patience, you have endurance. It means that you have self-value. It means that you can push yourself a lot. And once you can do those things, nothing can stop you. Nothing. And it will not matter what family background that you come from. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you. So course and career advice I will give to my younger self for going to university will be, the university is not the end. It's just a means. It's just a tool. It's not even an achievement. There's a training that you're getting. There's more that is before you. And so look at your sense of purpose. Look for it. Look at the freedom to work with your talent and your gift. And don't overlook financial success and financial freedom. And it's separate from the course and the career. Look at the contribution that you can make to the development of our country, of our continent, and our world. And work with ethics, be growth conscious, think of ownership, be diligent, search for knowledge, search for excellence, think of innovation, creativity, and think of entrepreneurship, think of business, think of doing something, because it's the tool, I think, that can develop Africa. And that is common to a lot of you guys coming out of the university. Think of it. If you train and you put a lot of content in yourself, in the future you will not be afraid. You will not be afraid. Just the content. Continue to develop your content. If you develop, instead of everybody, because we come from a country where we make joke. Joke is what attracts a lot of people's mind. If you have enough content, joke will not be attracted to you. Gossip and all those things, you don't care about them because you are developing. So what gets your thinking is solution. Thinking about how to connect, how to create value, how to help, because if you go to any environment that the people are still poor, it's because their content is still poor. So thank you for watching. Thank you.